What is up, everybody? Okay, so I just had a beautiful setup to show you, and then I hit the wrong button right before I hit record, and I lost all my work. But what I'm gonna do, since I gotta do it again anyway, to show you this, I'm just gonna show you right from the scratch how I set up these bots. So you can see we're in Bitsgap demo mode. So you're always going to be playing in demo mode until you're comfortable enough to put in your real money, just to get a feel for the user interface and all that jazz. So you're going to go over here to start bot, then pop over to where it says DCA bot, the dollar cost averaging. Okay. And then you're going to choose your exchange. So I've been running these bots on Coinbase, and this one specifically, I was going to try to run a one on Kraken, but I didn't have the history on it. Um, so I'm going to do this on Coinbase. So you choose your exchange, and then the next you're going to choose your pair. So I was playing around with HBAR because a lot of people talk about HBAR in the XRP community. So I was going to run a bot on that and see how high I can get it, and I'll see if I can replicate this because it came out to a pretty cool number. Um, anyway, so you'll leave this as long investment, $1,000. Like we've talked about before. Start out with at least $1,000. You can do more, that's great. But really, um, you gotta have something in it for it to really make it worth it. So start out with my base place base order immediately. That's default. And then you're going to put in your base order amount with 31.25. And then our remaining um, amount for the averaging orders is 968.75. So when you add these all together, once all these orders fill, you basically have $1,000 invested in that coin. So you have a bot with $1,000 to work with. Excuse me. So averaging orders quantity, put that to 5 if it's not already there. Sometimes it usually defaults at 5. And then for the averaging order step percentage, also start out with 5. Okay. And then this is one of the first ones we changed to start playing around with our back tests. Leave active orders limit off, should be off by default. Amount multiplier, you're going to take this, drag this over, or you might be able to click it. Oh, you can click it or drag it, whatever you want. And what that does is it will double each subsequent limit order. So you can see how that doubles from here to here and then here. And then for the step multiplier, take that and slide it or click it all the way off. Okay. Take position or take profits and stop loss, like I talked about in the other ones. We're not using stop losses. Leave this at regular. The only thing you're going to change here is your price change percentage. So I like to start out with 4 and then go from there. So what that does is it moves your take profit amount um, from the top of your range or from the top of your orders. So right away, this bot will buy $31.25 of HBAR. And then if that does go up 4%, it's going to take profit, give you a buck 25, and then it's going to buy again, and then it's going to reset all these limit orders. But as the price goes down, it'll buy more and more according to your limit orders here, which moves your take profit down, so it doesn't need to bounce as much to actually take profit and get you your gains. So, um, we'll run through that again real quick. We've got 31.25, 968.75, 5 and 5, double amount multiplier is doubled, step multiplier is off, and take profit is at 4%. Okay, so if you just go with the base package or whatever, that is 29 bucks a month, which is not a problem to start out with. Um, you can only do a 30-day back test. So you could do, and this would be a good example because we've done nothing, well, almost nothing but go down. It looks like it popped up, um, sold and bought, sold and bought, sold and bought, sold and bought. Got you a nice little jump start, and then it bought, sold, bought, sold, bought, sold, bought, and then now it's just bought. So we're back. We should be at break even with this. So like if you ran this particular bot for the last 30 days with $1,000, you'd see 26 bucks already in your USDC wallet. And uh, where the price is now, well, actually, no, you probably still would have a negative P&L. So like if you closed out this bot, you wouldn't actually recover the $1,000, but there's no reason to close it out. Um, unless you actually absolutely needed that money. But we're not in this for 30 days. So you're gonna keep running that. And if it made 2.68% in the last 30 days, what's that extrapolate to over the year? You know, conservatively it's 24%, which is just amazing. So for doing nothing, just let it go. And that's sometimes the hardest part with these bots is to not want to mess around with them. But there's really not a lot that you can mess around once you get them started. You can change your take profit percentage, but we won't get into that right now. But so anyway, let's get back to what we're doing here, and let me stop rambling. So with the pro account, you can do a 365-day back test, but even with the advanced, um, you can do an 180-day back test. So let's do that. Let's do the 180-day back test to see what it would look like if you had just the advanced plan. Oops, I thought I clicked it, but I guess I didn't. Watch for that little spinning wheel. So yeah, look at that. So in the last 180 days, it's produced 20%, and you can see it went down and then went whoop, nice and up in July, and it's done nothing but go down ever since. You got some sell orders in here, so you had the nice consistent income except for last week of September and the first 2 weeks of October. And then we had that stupid liquidation. So it bought a couple of those, but then with these settings for this timeline, for this time period anyway, you had October 11th until October 28th that you saw any action with it. So that's another reason why you wouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. You're going to start each bot with 1,000 at least. And then, once you get 10 bots, that's all you can do. So then if you had more money, you just end up putting more money in one or two or each of the bots. But $200 of profit right in your USDC wallet without doing anything. And then this bot is still running, and even if we are in the bear market that some people want to say we're in, you can see what it's done here just since July when it topped out at 30 cents. It's gone down to 14. And let's actually do a back test just from that timeline. So July 26th-ish. So you can do specific dates by hitting your little calendar here. And instead of choosing your date here, you can um, actually choose the specific day. What did I say? July. Oops. July 25th or 26th. I can't remember. July. Actually, it hits July 27th. So July 27th, it hit its current peak. That's May. Oh, May 27th. July 27th, HBAR, since July 27th, 121 days ago, HBAR has basically gone down 50%. So if you just bought $1,000 of HBAR on that day, you now have $500 worth of HBAR. But if you had your HBAR or had this bot using HBAR to generate some income for you, you know, your P&L, it's hard to do that math here. What your bot would actually be worth because it looks like it's maxed out its buy orders and it's waiting on that next little jump up to take your sell order. And you can see that by scrolling down here where you've got 6 buy orders in a row, which that's your max, so your initial buy and then those 5 limit ones underneath. So, um, but you still have $130 in your USDC wallet to pull out and do whatever with, or you can reinvest it, into this bot or your next bot. It's yours to do what you want to do with it. So that's pretty good. You know, when the coin itself drops 50% and you're making a 13% return on it. So that's about a third of the year. Three, yeah. So if you took that by three, that's 36%. Am I doing the math right? 39% APY. Um, that's pretty sweet, but it actually can be quite a bit more. And so I'm going to try to stop rambling and just do a 365-day back test and start showing you how I go about playing around with these settings to to try to find the most optimal settings. And it's easier to do when you have that 365-day back test, but I understand not wanting to jump in right into the pro account when you're just getting started. So get the basic if you want to start doing this. And you know, if you want to help support the channel, use my link below. That is an affiliate link, so they'll pay me a little bit of something something. And even if you don't use my affiliate link, drop a comment and tell me what coin, exchange, and stable coin, if you have a preference, what you're looking for. And I'm more than happy to make a quick video because I love playing around with this stuff and playing with these settings. I'm more than happy to do a quick video to show you like what settings you could start out with to get going. Um, Otherwise, you're just being able to do your 30-day back test. And then you can always start these bots in demo and see what they end up doing. And that's what you want to do anyway to get yourself acclimated to the software. But it's great because one of my favorite things about this is that you can basically control all your exchanges with this one user interface instead of having to try to get into all these different user interfaces. It can be kind of confusing. So the only time that I need to get into my exchanges is if I want to take the money and put it into my bank because this this Bitscap software does not have withdrawal or deposit access. It only has trading access for the API. Okay, so let's go up to my bot settings. The first thing that I start playing with is the averaging orders step percentage. So that's just changing the space in between the orders, unlimited orders. So I can't remember what I had there. Holy crap. Okay, so let's see. Watch this. So I had it at 5 originally, right? And got 39%. So that was pretty close to um when I extrapolated that 121 day back test out to the year, 39% is nothing to scoff at. But you can see if you change that averaging order step just 0.1% and do that same back test on the same period, you're almost doubling your return. So 70.18%. And then, oh, I also like to look at the, you know, kind of zoom out because I want to set up these bots so that I get and I try to maximize my gain on these when I do my back test, of course. But the other thing that really helps keeps you motivated to pay the monthly fee if you get started with this one. I do right now they have the Black Friday, so I just upgraded the Pro. So I paid for the whole year uh, instead of doing it monthly to save the money. But I want to see like I don't want to see a lot of areas like this where they're naked on the chart. So if I can manipulate those settings to help that, that's another goal after, of course, making sure that I try to maximize my return there. So let's see what 4.8% does. 82%. Okay. So what I try to do is I just don't write anything down. I just try to keep it in my mind to see if I'm going the right way or not. 82%. Drop down to 42. So, I've seen it, even though it dropped um, at 4.7, you can go through and you can change that step by step. 80, 89. That's actually even better than what I was looking at before when I had it all pulled up uh, and then hit the wrong button and erased all my work. I had it, and I can't remember the settings now, but because I wasn't recording, but uh, it was for the 365-day back test. It was 88.88%. So I thought that was cool. So let's see here. We still have just a little bit of what's that, a week or didn't see any action in September. Let's see, June was pretty boring. The last half of June anyway. But just in all reality, HBAR is not going to be maybe the first one you set up. Maybe it is. I don't know. It's up to you. But I right now I'm only running Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP bots. But and those are doing really well. But HBAR is one that I was curious with because a lot of people talk about it, and it seems to be one of those coins where it's been around long enough. I don't know when it came out, but it's been around long enough where it's pretty safe to say that it has maybe some decent utility. I don't know the details, but even if you're just gonna play it for the year or whatever, 89% return is pretty good, really good. But not just pretty good. So, uh, we can go through the settings real quick again, and then I'll just quit this video, and then I want to do another one where I compare uh, Coinbase versus Kraken on one of the bigger coins. But we've got here's our base order, our averaging order. You can see on the screen. We've talked about it. I've repeated myself enough on those. And then just changing the averaging order step to 4% from 5. And I think at 4.9 it was 87. I can't remember, but that's gone up a little bit. So you could even set up one on this because you have on Coinbase, you have USDC and USD and USDT. So if you really wanted to, just on Coinbase, you could set up a bot, $1,000 a piece if you really love HBAR and want to do it all in HBAR, or three bots in HBAR out of your 10 that you have, that you're limited to here with this one. Sorry to keep flashing between that white screen and this black one, but you could put in $1,000 each and play around with the back test and the settings and have them be just a little off, so they're not all buying and selling at the same time to give you a little bit more staggered profit, so you're not waiting as long necessarily to see a nice little jump up in your some bot profit. But then you have all these different stable coins that you gotta um, keep track of. Coinbase likes USDC, so that's what most of mine are in, and then I've got some in USD also. And it's not like it's hard to transfer. You could do it through here and go into trading, go into your Coinbase account, and then um, sell your USD for USDC or otherwise, or whatever, back whichever way you want to do it. Usually this is, hmm, usually it's USDC, USD. Okay, well, I don't need to get into that anyway. You can do that on the exchange or you can do it through here. Um, and then, like I said, one of my favorite things about this is being able to, why, this is kind of pissing me off why it's not showing up. I didn't think it was on Coinbase where you would have to switch it to anything else. Hmm. Anyway, I'm getting too lost in the sauce over here with that kind of stuff. But just remember, go rewind and look at those settings again to see uh, what would give you the best return. And like I said, make a comment, like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Thanks.